Hello, guys, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. Today, I'm kind of walking you through my house to show you all my current favorites that I've been loving for 2025. Now, for people who might be new to my channel or have only seen a couple videos and aren't fully caught up on everything that's been going on in my life recently, we recently moved into this apartment in Portland, Oregon, and we moved from Florida. So we moved across the entire country. And I feel like because of that, some of the things in this video are naturally like just moved in coded because it's stuff like furniture or kitchen appliances that we just recently got moving into this new apartment, even though they're like bigger items than the usual things that are included in these types of videos. It's just because of the timing that I'm filming this video, and I can't not include them because I've been absolutely loving them. But other than a few big things, most of the stuff is like your typical small random things that maybe you didn't even know were sold on Amazon, stuff like that, that I've been loving as well. I've got a few different categories for you, with like kitchen and home being the biggest one, but we're starting with clothes and like apparel and accessories because I only have a few from this category, but one of them I'm currently wearing. And I have to address it because I know you're probably thinking, what the heck is she wearing? That looks a bit ridiculous. I promise I'm wearing it intentionally. Well, actually, I was wearing it before this video, and then I was trying to warm up by my little fire here, which I'll talk about later, because it's so freaking cold in here. And I wanted to take this off to start filming the video, but I was so cold, so I was trying to warm up. And then I was like, if I'm going to include this as one of the things I've been loving, I'll just wear it for the start of the video so that I don't have to warm up before I start filming. So this is called a comfy. You've probably seen it before. I feel like they got pretty big in the past few years. I've actually had this for many years, not to be like a pick-me girl as the kids call it nowadays, but I kind of feel like I was one of the first to hop on the comfy train because I've had this for a while and I feel like nobody really had it yet. I got this so long ago that it was when they only had this gray color or like the dark navy blue. Now there's like all sorts of colors, but back in my day, they only had those two colors. So I have the gray one. If somehow you don't know what this is, let me show you. It's literally this giant oversized hoodie, but it's made out of like blanket material. Like, it's super fleecy on the inside and so warm and comfy. And I've been wearing it so much more since moving to Portland because it's freezing here. Like I said, I moved from Florida, so I'm not super used to the cold weather. While it did get cold in the winter in Florida and I did sometimes wear it there, I wear it way more now that we live here. So for anyone who lives up north and or is just always cold, because that was me in Florida, I was always cold, and now I live up north. So this is perfect for you. Highly recommend. Oh, and I forgot to say that I will have links to everything that I mentioned in this video for the most part, if I can find them, in the description below. Some may be affiliate links, so just be aware of that. And now for the next items I have to show you, I'm also conveniently wearing them for the purpose of this video, but that means I have to take my comfy off. All right, next item of clothing might be one of the few things I can't actually find online and put a link for you guys for because I got it from Marshall's, and that's the top that I'm currently wearing. I feel like I'm going to be referencing our move up north so much in this video, but it's just a big moment in our lives recently. A couple months ago when we first moved here, we went shopping looking for some more like winter gear and more clothes that we could layer, especially like thin undershirts, because we didn't have a lot of stuff like that because the Florida winter just doesn't require that level of layering. But we were on a budget because we had just moved across the entire country and we were also furnishing basically an entire apartment from scratch, which is not cheap. So we went to Marshall's, which is where I found this top. I love it so much, and I literally have 4 of them in different colors because they came in a 2-pack and I picked 2 different ones up. I love the square neckline. I feel like it's so flattering, and I feel like I see a lot of like high-end expensive pieces with this type of cut, and I've never really had any like that. But this one was so affordable, like I said, literally at Marshall's, and I feel like it looks just like those, but for way cheaper. It's also nice and stretchy, so it like fits to your form really well once it's on, and it's really comfortable. Obviously, it's not super warm for going outside in freezing weather, but it's a really nice underlayer because, like I said, we had like nothing like this. In Florida, we would wear like a sweater or a hoodie and like a jacket over that, and that was plenty. But when it gets really cold here, you need more than just that. So this is a really nice underlayer, but it's also cute enough to be worn on its own when it's not as cold. Again, I sound like a broken record, but got this at Marshall's, so I don't know if I'll be able to find a link for you guys in the description, but it was like in the workout section. It's kind of like a spandex, like athleisure material. So just look for something like that. You will not regret it. And my next item is my sweatpants. How convenient that I made sure to wear all the clothes I wanted to talk about in this video today. These sweatpants I did get from Amazon and I absolutely love them. They're a little bit pricey. I think they're like $50, although they were on sale when I found them, so maybe they still will be, not really sure. But I wish they weren't so expensive because I would literally buy every single color that they have. I want to keep stocking up on more colors, but this is my only pair at the moment. These sweatpants are nice and thick and they're like fleece lined, so they're way warmer than a normal pair of sweatpants. I also love the straight leg look because all my other sweatpants that I have are like cinched at the ankles. And I've never had a pair like this, but obviously all the cool girls wear these. So now I feel cool. This was another thing I wanted to get because of the cold weather. A lot of my pants are not fit for this freezing weather unless I wear layers underneath, which is just so annoying and uncomfortable and not always possible with women's clothing because sometimes the clothing is pretty tight. So it's hard to put multiple layers on. So that's what drew me to these because they're fleece lined and they're thicker and they're a lot warmer than normal pants. I want every single color. I want them all. I absolutely love them. And if I could afford to buy every color, I totally would. All right. And that wraps up the clothing category. Like I said, not super huge, but just a few of my current favorites. Next, we're moving on to the kitchen, but starting with the coffee corner. All right, so this is my coffee corner. Now, if you didn't see the video where I made this over, you should go watch that real quick. It is kind of like a two-parter because this side is our pantry and this side's like the coffee area. So I had one video where I showed me organizing the entire pantry and then the next one was the coffee corner. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out, but that's what this is. Now, obviously, I can't show my coffee corner without giving a shout out to my wonderful espresso machine. This is one of the bigger items in the video that, like I said, I feel like wouldn't typically be in this type of video, but I have been loving it and it's relatively new. I got it in November, late November, maybe. And I've been absolutely loving it. It was a major upgrade from what I had before, which you will see in the coffee corner video if you haven't watched that yet and you go watch it. I had like the cheapest one you can get on Amazon, literally like $35. And I finally upgraded to this one when we moved in. This is the Breville Barista Express. According to all my research, it's one of the best, like, beginner friendly, but also high quality espresso machines. That's why I have it and I absolutely love it. And then going along with my espresso machine are a few of my espresso accessory favorites. For one, I got these adorable little spoons off of Amazon. They're just these little spoons with a long skinny handle and they're meant for espresso and also just like bar stuff in general. That was such a ridiculous way to phrase that. If you've ever been to a bar or a coffee shop and you've seen like the long skinny spoons that they use to like mix the drinks because they're usually in like tall containers, that's what this is for. So the inspiration for getting these was actually this spoon, which you might recognize this better. These are the spoons that I feel like they typically have at bars or coffee shops to mix the drinks. And I have one of these from my little bar kit that I have, which is sitting right up there. But I only had the one and I found that I really liked using it to mix my lattes and my coffee and stuff. So I bought a few more, but they're a little bit different, a little more unique, a little more cutesy in my opinion. So I've got 4 of those. They don't currently have a spot, so they're literally being stored in this mug. Next favorite are these super cute, freaking adorable espresso cups. They have a nice little spout, so it's really easy to pour the espresso out once you brew it into a cup without spilling it everywhere. And it's also like dual lined, if you can see that. So the cup isn't like really hot when you grab it from the really hot espresso inside, and it keeps it like nice and insulated without burning your fingers. I absolutely love these cups. I think they're so cute, first of all, which is why I keep them on my little shelf up here displayed because they're just adorable. But they're also just so functional. They like perfectly fit 2 espresso shots, which is how much I usually make every day to put in my lattes. And then, like I said, they have this spout to pour the espresso out into a cup once you need it. And it's really nice because it makes it really easy to pour without dripping down the side like all other cups would do. And the dual lining helps you not burn your fingers. All right, all this talk about my espresso machine and all my espresso accessories. Before we move into the kitchen to go over the rest of my favorites in there, we gotta make a latte. Another kitchen favorite of mine are these glasses. Now, I know it's not revolutionary that I have this type of glass because they kind of blew up a couple years ago, but it's these soda can shaped glasses and they are just so freaking cute. I love them so much. They're really sturdy too. Like the bottom of these particular ones are pretty like hefty and weighted. So I feel like it's hard to knock it over. Like it stays upright well. They're also just so freaking cute to make lattes in, especially adorable. And this particular set was super cheap. As far as glasses go, it's a 4-pack, but we have 2 4-packs, making 8, actually 7, because AJ dropped one and broke it. And I don't remember the exact price, but obviously with everything else, I'll link it below and you can check on it. But I remember it being like very affordable for glassware. I literally make my lattes in these every single day. And next favorite is my ice maker. As with pretty much everything else in this video, I got this ice maker off of Amazon and I absolutely love it. I am an ice fanatic. I need to have my ice in every drink that I drink. And the fridge in our apartment does not have a built-in ice maker in the freezer, which was such a sad realization when we moved in. So I opted for this countertop ice maker from Amazon instead of doing like the ice cube trays where you have to pour your own ice. I did that for too many years in college. It's so tedious. It's so annoying and I did not want to have to do it anymore. So I got this countertop ice maker. There are so many options on Amazon. This one is just like so many of the other ones I saw when I was looking for one. I am very much the type of person that has to see like every single option before purchasing something because I just can't commit without feeling like I've seen everything out there just in case there's something better. So I guarantee I've seen just about all of them on Amazon. And I can't tell you why exactly this one's better and why I chose it because they're all so similar. I think this one was literally like 0.1 liters bigger in terms of how much water it could hold or something ridiculous. So that's why I chose it. But other than that, they're all so similar. I also chose this particular one because it makes like bullet shaped ice. A lot of them make the nugget ice, which I know people are really big fans of, but I didn't see that working well for my situation. I feel like nugget ice melts really fast because it's so small and it would like stick together because it's so small and melts really fast. So I felt like the bullet ice was better for me. There were also some that made cubed ice, but people complained about them like coming out in one solid brick and you having to break the ice cubes apart separately like on your own. And that's like not that big of a deal, but was annoying enough to me that I settled on the bullet ice. And so far I've been loving it. The ice never sticks together. Obviously it melts eventually, but it takes a really long time to melt, so it's usually full of ice for me. I will say my one complaint with the ice maker is I wish it held more water. I feel like I'm always filling it up with more water. But also I use so much ice that I feel like it might just be a me problem because every glass of water I drink has to be like filled to the brim with ice. I make at least one latte a day, but usually two when AJ's home. We make drinks at night a lot on our own instead of going out to save money. So we use a lot of ice. And given how much ice we use, I don't usually have to refill it every day. I'd say probably every other day. But if we have a streak of using a lot of ice in a few days, then it might be every day. So it's not bad. But it's just, I wish it could hold a little bit more. However, that's hardly an issue with this in my house. This is a massive measuring cup that I got from IKEA. I actually got it in my moving day vlog, which you should totally go watch because it's a really good video. But I got this mainly for decor because as you can see, there's open shelving in our kitchen behind me and I wanted to fill it up with cute but also functional stuff. So I got this from IKEA because it was super cheap. It lives up there, but it's become a great resource for filling up my ice maker when the water's low because it's so huge. It's way bigger than any cup we have, so it holds a lot of water. So I only really have to make one trip to the fridge, fill it up with water, and then bring it and pour it in, and then the ice maker's good. So honestly, that's been the main function of this thing, and I've been loving it. Next in my kitchen favorites is this knife set and my stand mixer. These are actually two things we were gifted from our wedding, and they have been so well loved and well used already. The knife set has been a lifesaver because up until we got this gifted to us, we only had butter knives and a few crappy knives from Walmart. But the knives from Walmart, we only had like 2 or 3 of them, and they were a little bit sharper and meant to cut like meats and stuff. And so we would use those to cook. But in terms of like actually eating meals, if we were eating chicken, we used butter knives to cut it. So this knife set has been a lifesaver. It comes with 6 steak knives, so we can actually cut our meat with sharp knives when we're eating dinner, and it's just so much easier and better. It also comes with kitchen shears, which I feel like we don't really use that often, but we have used it a few times. Then it comes with 2 smaller sharp knives that are really good for like cutting veggies and fruits. And then it's got a few of the big, really sharp knives for meats and stuff. And of course, a serrated bread knife. And it's all put together in this cute little box that sits on the counter. It just looks cute. And then my lovely stand mixer. I love it so much. I got it in the color porcelain. So it's like a slight off-white and it's matte instead of shiny. This thing was a savior, especially in December when I was baking Christmas cookies left and right. It really came in handy. We've also used it to make mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. And we've used it to make buffalo chicken dip. It is just so nice and handy to have, and it saves you quite a bit of hard work stirring by doing it for you. All right, final kitchen gadget before we move into more of like the general home stuff, and it's this chopper. This thing is absolutely incredible. We use it all the time, and it has sped up the process of cooking so much. I've never used one like this until we, again, got gifted it for our wedding. Before that, I had always used like the electric choppers or the one where like you have to push the thing on top to bring the blades down. You know what I'm talking about? But this one beats all of those, I think. Maybe the electric chopper for different purposes, but for cutting veggies at least, this one is the way to go. It's so easy. You just put some chunks of veggie on the little grid of blades and then push the lever down, and it just like slices them right through those blades and cuts them into perfect little cubes. We used to hand chop everything, and this has sped up cooking so much. It also comes with a bunch of other attachments to do different things, but we've really only used like the small cube looking ones because I feel like that's just like the most handy and the most commonly used. But it comes with a bunch of stuff. All right, we are back in front of the fire to move into the more general home section of this video, which, as I mentioned earlier, includes this little fireplace. This type of entertainment stand has been on my mind for years, and I always knew that when I finally had a space to put it in, I would get one. It is a TV stand, so it's got doors on either side that can hold whatever you need. We store all of our board games in them, and then it's got the fireplace in the center, which actually lights up and actually gives off heat. This thing has been a game changer since moving up north. There, I said it again. We don't even use the heat in our general living space. Like, we have a heater in the bedrooms that we use at night, but we don't use the heater in our living room or our kitchen because this thing does it well enough on its own. I just love cozying up here in front of the fire and just sitting in front of the heater when I'm really cold and just warming up. And you won't even believe this thing is from Amazon, and it was $250. My mind was blown. I've seen these types of entertainment stands go for thousands from all the like really big furniture companies. And actually, like a couple months before we moved, we were walking through Costco back in Florida, and we saw that they were selling one. And it was like, I want to say they were selling it for like $600. And I saw that and I was like, that's pretty good. Like, those are normally so expensive. Maybe we could get it through Costco. But even then, we were fresh out of college, fresh off of moving across the country, did not have a lot of money. So even dropping $600 on an entertainment stand was a lot for us. But in my mind, at that moment, that seemed pretty good because all the other ones I'd seen were so expensive. But then when we actually moved and actually had to start looking for one, I turned to Amazon first, good old trusty Amazon, just to see what they might have. And this thing popped up and it was $250. I mean, I bought it right away. Also, not only was it $250, it was like a bestseller. It had thousands of good reviews. So like, there was no reason not to purchase it immediately. And on top of the entertainment stand, I have this thing sitting up there. This is literally just a box that holds remotes. Now, that may sound unnecessary, but let me tell you why this has actually been amazing. First of all, I know we all have so many remotes in this day and age. Of course, you have remotes to like your TV and maybe other consoles that you have in your entertainment stand, but then you also might have a remote for the lights around your room or a remote for your fireplace. And the question becomes, where do you store these remotes? At first, I was just going to get a cute little basket to sit on the coffee table and put the remotes in there. But then I realized we have so many remotes that thing would be like either overflowing or it would need to be so huge. It would take up so much of the coffee table and it would not be cute anymore. Would it serve its function? Sure. But it would take away from the cute vibes of the coffee table and the living room as a whole. And then all the remotes would be piled on top of each other. So when you need to use one, you have to dig in there to try and find the one that you're looking for. This handy thing has 3 different compartments for different size remotes. So for example, the really tall remotes can go in the back, while maybe the middle length ones can go in the middle, and the shortest ones can go in the front short compartment. It literally organizes them and holds them in a really cute box. You can sit on top of your entertainment stand. And this one, conveniently enough, goes really perfectly with my already like white farmhouse wooden entertainment stand. Also, it's so neutral, it could go on top of any entertainment stand. And it just looks so much cuter. It doesn't take up more space on your coffee table and it organizes them. And it fits so many. I mean, we have a lot of remotes, but if you have even more than us, it'll all fit in here. And our final couple items in the home category are actually right behind me. I wasn't going to do a living room home favorites video without mentioning my favorite board games. Now, I won't go crazy because we have a lot in here, and obviously we're not going to own games that we don't like to play, so we like all of them, but there are a couple standouts. The first one, which we were gifted very recently, I'm sure you've seen it. It's Tapple. I feel like it blew up on, I don't know, maybe TikTok? Was that where it was? I don't know, you tell me. We were a little late to the game on this because I feel like I first heard about this like a year ago, but we were just gifted it a couple months ago. But we love it so much. It's actually really fun and it's a really simple, easy game to play when you don't like want to put too much effort in. You don't want to do a lot of setup and you can just whip it out, play a couple rounds or play a lot of rounds and then put it away whenever you're done with it. If you don't know what this is, I'm sure you could find many videos online showing how to play, but it's really fun. It's a very simple like word/categories game. Highly recommend. And the other board game I'm going to shout out, Wingspan. If you're a true fan, you already knew this was coming. This box is so heavy because we have like 3 expansion packs in this one box. But love Wingspan. This is the original game, which has a bunch of North American birds, but then they've released several expansion packs with Asian birds, European birds, and Oceania. And they're currently working on 2 more, I think. I think they're just going to cover all the continents, I assume. Also, I know that doesn't add up to 7 if I just said they had 2 more that they're working on, but I feel like I've only heard of 2 more. So I don't know what they're doing, but I'm not dumb. But anyway, we have the original and then we have all the expansions that currently exist. The most recent one we got was Oceania, which completed our collection and we have been playing like crazy. It is such a fun game. It is very like strategy centered, but it's not super competitive. It's not the type of game where you're playing on the same board as your opponent. So you're like coming at each other's throats and like screwing each other over. Those types of games genuinely piss me off and they make me so mad that I don't like to play them. This is not that type of game. You have your own board and all your opponents have their own boards and they can't just sabotage your board whenever they feel like it. It's a really fun, like, can I beat my best score type of game, like kind of competing with yourself, but obviously still trying to beat your opponents, but in a much friendlier way. Highly, highly, highly recommend. And the last category, tech. I only have a few things in this category, so it'll be quick, but one of them, I guess, is technically not really tech itself, but it helps with tech things. So I'm just going to start off with that one. It's a cord organizer. Maybe you've seen these before, but they are so super helpful. It's basically just this rubber piece with slots in it that you stick to a desk to put your cords in so that they feed up to your desk and stay on your desk. For so many years, I dealt with the struggle of my cords falling behind my desk and having to fish them out, and it was so annoying, and I bet so many of you are currently still dealing with those struggles. But don't do it anymore. This thing is so nice. You just stick the cord in there. It's constantly right at your reach when you're sitting at your desk. Your cords are no longer falling on the floor and getting in a tangled mess. Please invest in these. The ones that I currently have are definitely not super reusable, but they can be. It comes with like a sticker backing on the back to stick it to your desk. And so when I first removed them from the first desk I ever stuck them to, that sticker thing just got completely destroyed. It didn't damage the desk at all. I was able to get it off without damaging it, but it was just so stuck to the desk that it like peeled off the rubber. But since then, we've just put it up with a new type of like adhesive sticky tape and it works fine. So like the original backing doesn't work anymore. So the original isn't super reusable, but if you just find a new adhesive tape, it'll work fine. Next tech item is this little SD card case. I have needed this for so long. Like this is so overdue and I finally got it for my birthday. It's just an SD card holder. It's got 8 slots for regular sized SD cards and then under those you can fit 8 more micro SD cards, which is pretty cool. And it's just so nice to have them all in one place and not risk losing them because I'm pretty sure I'm missing one and I don't know where it is. At least the rest of them are safe. Also, I love that it low-key looks like a little suitcase or something. Like it's just so cute. And the final tech item, which honestly might be my most favorite thing right now, which is funny because I didn't mean to save it for last, but here we are, my Kindle. This is, I think, the newest one. I'm not sure. AJ got this for me for my birthday, so I don't remember exactly what he told me, but I think it's the newest one, and it's in their matcha color. So cute. One of my goals for the new year was to get back into reading, and this Kindle has done just that for me. I'm not going to say that if you're not a reader at all whatsoever, you should just go spend your money on a Kindle and it will make you a reader, because I don't want you to waste your money if you're just not a reader. But if you're like me, you should totally get a Kindle. I was in a state in my life where I hadn't read a book in so long, like an embarrassing amount of time, like years. And I wanted to get back into reading for a while, but there were just so many aspects to reading that overwhelmed me that I just never did. For one, books are expensive. Buying a new book every time I want to try reading it. What if I hate it? I just spent 20 bucks on this book. And then it's like, where do I put it? Do I just donate it? But then I just spent 20 bucks on this thing. And then you do that over and over again. Suddenly you're blowing hundreds of dollars on books that you may or may not like. Then there's a library, which is fine. But libraries kind of overwhelm me because I can't just like go in and be like, I want this book. I have to go look through all the rows and find the ones that look interesting and then pick it and hope it's good. And if it's not, then I got to go all the way back to exchange it. And then also the whole like, you only have 2 weeks to read this book thing stresses me out. So libraries were also not a great fit. The Kindle, though, the power of this Kindle. I don't know how AJ gets me my books. Ask him because he's the one who does it. I just tell him what I want to read and he gets it for me. But also, there are so many free books on the Kindle. I think it's because we have Amazon Prime, so maybe if you don't have Amazon Prime, that doesn't apply to you. But it is so great. The last book I just read, which I literally stayed up till like 1 a.m. finishing last night because it was that good, I got just like on my Kindle for free because there was a section from Amazon that was like, here's what people are loving right now. And I just like found one that looked interesting, downloaded it, and started reading it for free. The book I'm referring to is called The Last Flight by Julie Clark. It was so good. Like, I have not read a book like that that's like such a page turner and just like I never want to put it down in so long. And it was just like so refreshing to read. And also, I feel like a little bit nostalgic because I swear the last time I read a book that I just could not even put down was like Harry Potter or the Hunger Games or like the Maze Runner, like that era of like young adult dystopian novels was my shit. And I read all of those and was obsessed with them. But I feel like I haven't read something that kept me so invested since those types of books. Anyway, so I'm officially in my reading era again. Please comment any book suggestions if you are also an avid reader. Let me know. The Last Flight that I just finished, it was kind of like a mystery, not thriller. It was just like a mystery slice of life about two women, which I really, really loved. And it was kind of like my first mystery book. So definitely send me more mystery books if you have any that you recommend because I really liked that one. Before that, I read this book called Shards of Earth, which was like a sci-fi. It's a whole series and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to continue reading the series. The first one was pretty good, but I wasn't like super invested in like never wanting to put it down like I was with this past one. So I'm not really sure about that one yet. But I am interested in some sci-fi or like space-esque books. I think those would be really interesting. I'm also looking for more historical fiction books and maybe even real history books, but they still need to be entertaining and not like a textbook or otherwise I'll get bored. I have dabbled in fantasy, but I'm kind of stepping away from fantasy for a bit because I don't know if it's quite for me. And then I'm not opposed to trying a romance book, but not, I don't know, I'm really picky on like what I'd be good with. Like, I don't want to read like all those really smutty romance books that are like blowing up right now. I would want to read just like a cute love story, like almost like a rom-com, but in book version. So if you do have any suggestions of books like that, let me know with that as well. But yes, those are all the genres I'm interested in. So if you are an avid reader, please comment some suggestions and give me some ideas. Other than that, this officially concludes my current favorites video. I hope you really enjoyed, and I hope that at least one of these things sparked your interest and you're like, I might actually get that for myself. I truly, truly use every single thing that I mentioned in this video all the time, and I genuinely love every single one of them. I would not be recommending them if I didn't. Let me know if you like this type of video, and if so, if you'd want to see more stuff like this in the future, either more favorites or favorites in a specific genre or least favorites. Maybe there's stuff I regret buying and wouldn't recommend. I'm not really a shopaholic, so I don't know how much I could gather that I regret, but I might be able to put something together if you guys are interested. Let me know what other types of videos you'd like to see from me in the future as well, and subscribe so that you don't miss them. And also, since I referenced moving across the country so many times in this video, if you haven't caught up on all of my moving vlogs yet, you should absolutely go watch those next.